Chris Carson finished as running back 17 last year. He had 141 rush attempts, 681 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 37 receptions on 46 targets for 287 and 4 through the air. What are your thoughts on Chris Carson?
Well, so to end the season last year, Pete Carroll said, we've got to run the football more. We're going to run the football more. Well, things kind of fell apart for the Seahawks there at the end of the year, and Carson obviously was his lack of productivity was part of the problem, but really just the staleness of the offense, in general, was the major problem, which is what led them to getting a new OC, to canning Schottenheimer and moving on. So here, if you heard that postseason press conference where Pete Carroll, who was clearly frustrated because they lost and their season was done, and all you heard was, we're going to run the football more, something new came out where Pete Carroll said, okay, pump the brakes. We're not going to run the football 70 times a game. Like, we're not going to be a 70-30 run to pass offense. We just need to incorporate things a little bit more. We need to have an effective run game, and we need to have, I think the phrasing he used was, we need to have a focused run game. And that phrasing right there, and like it or not, and when it comes to coach speak, that phrasing, that means something. And while Pete Carroll, he's a coach and he's going to have those idioms that coaches have, I think that there's definitely, like, he is definitely telling everybody, we're going to run the ball.
Chris Carson's ADP puts him at the running back 19, 36 pick off the board. So right there at the end of the third.
That's about, I see him finishing a little bit higher than that. Maybe RB 15 to 17 is where I see him finishing. So I guess in that standpoint, it's a value. But I mean, he's not going to blow the barn doors off you.
Last year, with him missing, 4 games, he still had a running back 17 finish on the year. He's in a very high-powered offense that likes to run the ball, a head coach that likes to establish the run and likes to play behind a defense. They will let Russ cook a little bit, but they still love to run the football. You will see that he's very efficient when he gets it, right? Last year, he was at a 4.8 yards per carry type of attempt. So he will be very, very valuable for fantasy. And when you're drafting him at the running back 19, which is where his ADP falls at right now, that's about the return that you're going to get. He may come up off of that a little bit to finish where you're thinking, 14, 15, somewhere in that range. But yeah, for the most part, when you draft him, you know what you're drafting, which is a very nice thing to have. And for instance, the way I draft, that's a third running back on my roster. And in a lot of folks, that's a second running back, and that's a reliable running back 2 that you can put on the board there. So there's a lot to be said about Chris Carson and what he can do there. I think that he will be a tremendous value for everyone when it comes to fantasy football this year. Some of the other running backs that you'll take in the third round ahead of him aren't necessarily guys that you're going to be super excited that you passed on Chris Carson when it's all said and done.